Thanks, Justin. Well, it's National Transgender Awareness Week. A few months ago, I sat down with Mason Fitzpatrick to hear his emotional journey. Well, today he joins us to continue spreading awareness, but first, here's his story.
The only way that I can explain it is living 24 years and feeling like my entire body was chained to the ground. That no matter what I did or said, I wasn't free.
Mason Fitzpatrick knew as a toddler the name Megan didn't fit.
When I was growing up, I hated with passion women's clothing. I always felt like I just stuck out.
By 14, he told his grandmother he was trans.
She looked at me and she's like, I've known that forever now. She's like, and it doesn't matter to me at all.
But it wasn't easy coming out. His biggest fear was letting his mom down.
I felt like I was taking away her daughter. There was a part of me that was like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to free myself.
Of course, he had nothing to worry about. And with his family behind him, Fitzpatrick began taking testosterone in June 2015 and had top surgery last March.
Let's see, turn around.
It was the best experience of my life.
For the first time, he finally saw himself. Now Fitzpatrick uses his social media as a platform to help people going through the same battles he once did, and his impact reaches across the pond.
I've connected with people in Ireland. I've connected with people in Europe. This one is from Poland, and she used Google Translate to write me a letter.
Even sending him a lucky coin. And while he gets plenty of backlash from sharing his story, Fitzpatrick says it's what he was meant to do.
If something that I'm going through and there's the slightest possibility that I can help someone else, why not?
So that's Mason's story. Here is Mason. Mason, thanks for being with us today.
Of course.
So what have you been up to since then?
Work has been crazy, you know, trying to continue what I've been doing as we've talked about previously. Still doing what I can on Instagram and any social media platform to do what I can to help people near and far. And it's pretty incredible to see how far, as you say, across the pond, how many people are needing the help. So as long as I'm not quiet and I can do what I can, then that's what I'll keep doing.
And to that end, what do you feel about your efforts so far? Is it going pretty well?
Yeah, you still have all those people who will never understand. There's people who don't fit inside a box, who want you to fit inside a box, but I think that's the whole point of my goal, is to realize that everyone is different, but the only thing that remains the same is that we're all human. So
to piggyback off of that, why is it so important to you to keep doing this work, spreading this awareness and your story on social media and here in the community too?
I think seeing firsthand how many messages that I get from kids who are in different countries that don't have resources, or medical doctors who are willing to do a transition, give them the resources that they need to be themselves, that outlet sometimes is all that they have. So if that means that I'm up on my phone until 4 o'clock in the morning so that, you know, some 13-year-old kid has someone to talk to, then it's worth it. It's worth it, because the suicide rate are disheartening.
It sounds like this has been really rewarding so far, and you'd expect that feeling to continue.
Absolutely. I don't think there's ever an end point to being a voice for people who don't have one. So
the work and the awareness goes on for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you had one thing that you could say to somebody who is kind of going through this internal battle that you did for so long, what would it be to tell them to make it through?
I honestly get that question a lot, and people don't know how to come out about their stories, and sometimes people don't have the platform like I do right now. But being honest to myself was the first step to being honest to everyone else. And it's easier for other people to accept me if I can accept myself. So realizing that regardless of how I identify, I'm still worthy of being loved by my family and by my friends, and so are they. So it's important that they get to that step to loving themselves, so that it's so much easier to be like, hey, this is who I am. I want you to accept me just like I've learned to accept myself. So
very well said.
Yeah, beautifully said. Thank you, Mason. And we'll hear from him again in an hour, so don't go far. And we also want to take this time to mention that this year's 11th annual AIDS Walk will be held on Saturday, December 2nd from 8 a.m. to noon.
Yes, and we will be out there walking and supporting this great cause as well.
Yes, it's going to be at J.D. Hamill Park in downtown Sarasota. So we'll see you all there.